Welcome to today's vlog. In today's episode, let's talk about code with caps. Okay, so I know I've briefly touched on the name code with caps and haven't really described or explained what it is. So that's what I wanted to focus this video on mostly today. So let's dive in. So the general idea I had with code with caps was to have a platform where you can teach, where you can explain, where you can put technology to best use in front of kids. Focusing on not K to 12, focusing on middle school kids, or even younger, like after five, not probably not. I mean, yeah, five. I mean, kids play with apps, mobile games. Once they turn 4 or 5, that old. But the focus is like early when you're like 8 or 10, and above that. Help those kids teach and make them aware of the uses of technology, of coding, of how is that encircling the world they're in right now, and as they'll grow up, it's gonna be a part of everything to do, and do so in an intuitive way, where you show them the applications. It's not focused on how to code, even though that's a part of it, but show them the bigger picture, and not just and coding is the main focus, but the idea is incorporate the whole STEM field, so like science, the different sciences, and a focus on math as well, and building things and creating things, and so that they have a platform to see where their interests are, to explore different areas in the STEM field, not just coding, but if they're into science, physics, they like building things, or chemistry or something. Of course, that age is too young to dive deep into the fundamentals of these different fields. But I believe you can at least, if there's a platform where that exposes them to all these things, and if they like it, then that's really win-win, because then they can sort of parents can help them, and parents will be a part of this as well, where they'll be exposed to what their children are liking, how they're reacting, what their feedback is, because that I think there really has to be a big focus. If you look at the education space from a bigger picture, you're not really told, even when you go to college, right, and through schooling as well, very few schools and very few teachers, their teaching style is I don't want to say correct, but more effective. So generally the focus is on how to do things. This is how you do, even if it's coding, this is how you code in Java or Python. This is how you code this algorithm. This is how you code these data structures, and the focus is hardly on why you're doing this, or how is this useful, or how is this applicable in real life. And that I've seen that in college as well, and I think that's where big gap is in terms of the way this whole environment is set up. So the main idea, so one of the basic ideas behind code with caps was to focus on the why. Why is this important? Why, and showcase real examples, real applications where whatever it is that you're learning, that's being used, and then in the end, not in the end, but and then sort of transition into how it works, and because then once you've set that foundation, that's the main focus that I'm concerned about, that I see as a lag in the current education system. So yeah, that was the. It's still a very vague thing in my mind. I'm trying to narrow down, at least in certain direction, of where I want to start from, And it's not just kids, high school, middle school, even college kids, even people like my friends, even my parents. Like I want to get my mom involved, or at least learn the basics of coding. Because I think like everyone should know at least the basics. It's less about knowing the language, or how how it works, and it's more so about sort of going through that analytical phase of figuring out the logic of like, oh, what am I doing here, and why am I doing it this way and not this way. And it's the thinking process that is useful, that you can apply into other disciplines in your daily life as well. So I think in the bigger picture, it's to raise awareness about coding for not just kids. Even if you're 50 years old, you wanna get into web development. It's very easy these days. So that's a big focus as well, to raise general awareness about the implications of coding, of the advantages of how you can basically make yourself better. I don't know how that's gonna happen, but I think that's it's true. I've definitely seen that in my place. I came to college without any coding experience, and I struggled a lot, especially the first 3 years when I barely knew what was going on. Never wrote a code in my whole life, and I was just thrown into data structures and algorithms, and I was like, what is this? And that's one of the reasons I want to do this as well. Focus on the foundations first, focus on applications, focus on the fun part, and do it in a fun way, of course, not just the boring theoretical learning bit. It's more hands-on, application-based. Especially these days, there are like all these smart devices you can work with, like this guy, Alexa, Google Home, and Raspberry Pi, and home automation you can do, and drones, and all this fun stuff that all run on code. So it's pretty fun. It's a pretty fun space to be in, or even to learn about. So that was the general idea. I hope that makes sense. And so right now there's like it's just ideas. I haven't done anything towards it. First thing I'm doing right now, after recording this video, I'm gonna set up my website for Code with Kaps, and the name is actually taken from Code with Classy, which is a non-profit by Carly Kloss, the supermodel. I hope she doesn't mind. I sort of piggybacked her naming convention, but I guess it fit well with my name as well, Code with Kaps. So, and my roommate always calls me Kaps. I was like, Code with Kaps, that makes sense. So anyhow, so yeah, I'll set up the website this weekend. It should be live by next week, and then I'll start adding content to it, sort of structuring my thoughts around what I want it to be. And like I said, this whole vlog, it's to showcase showcase the journey of sort of converting my mental thoughts about the things I want to do into actionable, and taking actions on them. So most of the things that I'm talking about, it's just in my head that makes sense, that I want to do, but I haven't really taken actions towards doing it. And I think just documenting the journey, as Gary Vee says, document. So that's what I'm doing, documenting. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, that's Code with Kaps in a nutshell. I'll let you guys know when the website goes live, so there's a bit more context to what I'm talking about. And that's it for today's vlog. Hope you liked it. Hope you're excited about this project, Code with Kaps. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.